problems with that motor, buddy.
Welcome, race fans, to Pit Stop TV. We're live to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch tonight. As always, I've got Emerson Ardon and Chris Nunn with me in the booth. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV, and this is Pit Stop TV's live coverage of the SRCA Pro F2000 series from Iowa Speedway. We join you tonight from virtual Newton, Iowa for races 11 and 12 in 15 rather in SRCA's Pro F2000 Championship. Iowa Speedway, a 7/8 mile accomplishment of Rusty Wallace, has quickly become one of America's most exciting short tracks no matter the series. Be it NASCAR, IndyCar, ARCA, or even Grand Am competition, Iowa is sure to excite any race fan. The fastest short track on the planet features 12 to 14 degrees of progressive banking in the corners, 10 degrees of banking on the front stretch, and 4 degrees of banking down the back. Tonight, Emerson, the SRCA, visits the Midwest Mixing Bowl of Speed, built in 2006, as we watch the series' first double headers of an action-packed month ahead.
Right, so we're trying to get this season closed out very quickly here. So these double headers is going to be a lot of fun tonight. Was it 2 25-minute events? And that's only going to make these races much more important. The action is going to be right at the top. You're going to be seeing left, right, and center, 3 wide, 4 wide. This track is pretty wide with these small cars, so we'll see what happens tonight. Let's not forget about last week, our last race of Oldest Puticlus and Scott McIntyre nearly getting together. We'll see how that works here on the 7/8 mile oval in Iowa.
Yeah, that last race, Andrew, there's no love loss between the two. It looked like it was, let's see, McIntyre, he was 2 laps down, if I'm trying to remember correctly, and he was racing Puticlus like it was the last lap, and they were going for the win.
Yeah, Oldest Puticlus, Scott McIntyre, they've had their fair share of run-ins lately, and that changed not at all a couple of weeks ago at Lime Rock. It was the same old for those two. Even a couple of laps difference between them. Scott McIntyre was in the head games department of Oldest Puticlus and was messing with him a little bit. Of course, if you watched that broadcast, you saw those two go nose to tail off into turn 1 at Lime Rock in a couple of Pro Mazdas, which is very tricky to do and do right. So definitely those two not afraid to mix it up with one another, and they'll be mixing it up tonight for sure. Is again a mixing bowl, I would say, kind of like Bristol, just a little bit bigger, a little bit faster here at Iowa Speedway. So as we get ready to go, we do have 25-minute limits on each race, but technically 40 laps. So if we can get all 40 laps in, awesome. That'll be the conclusion of each race. Otherwise, we are limited to 25 minutes apiece. We'll, of course, talk to your top 3 after each race, and then once we go through 2 of those, that'll be it. So that will be your SRCA action, and we're doing this the next 3 weeks, actually, through both series. We've got it tonight for the SRCA Pro F2000 Series Iowa, next week at Texas Motor Speedway, in 2 weeks at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the Pro F2000s, and actually again, so 4 weeks actually of doing this, because we'll be doing it at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway here in a month's time almost. For the for the IndyCar World Series. There we go, for the SRCA. So, as practice wraps up, we're going to go ahead and roll into qualifying. We'll step aside for just a couple of moments, let you guys listen to these cars as they get up to speed, get a couple of qualifying laps down. We'll be right back with continuing coverage from Iowa. Welcome back. Just wanted to step aside for a moment and let qualifying run its course. So far, Rick Ray Vaughn fastest on the speed charts, followed up by Spencer Madden and Cole Fralick, a couple of teammates there in second and third. Some more cars on the racetrack. One of those is going to be Elijah DeGracia, who just goes to pole. A 22.849, the first 22.8 that we've seen so far. We've seen, well, yeah, Rick Ray Vaughn said a 22.9, so fastest time by a long shot so far there from Elijah Gracia. Do want to bring up the point standings here, though, as we get ready. That's the wrong one. That's the right one. There we go. The point standings for this series as we get rolling into races 11 and 12. So this is after 10 races. You can see 8 wins out of 10 in just the top 3 between Aldous Puticlis, Harley Lewis, and Scott McIntyre. We do have each of those 3 drivers in attendance tonight, so it's likely to stay that way, I would say. But these ovals in the Pro Mazda series of the SRCA always tend to mix things up a bit, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do have a first-time winner on the season. Russ Addy, John Morgan, they're a couple of guys who we usually see towards the front. Elijah Gracia definitely currently sitting on pole. Could be one of the favorites to take that win. Spencer Madden, Cole Fralick actually as well. Actually, Cole Fralick already has a win on the season before he started commentating with us, so Spencer Madden could join him then.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of these guys, or everybody pretty much entering this race, has the opportunity to win. Especially because it's an oval. Not to take away from road course racing, it's just a different skill set is required when racing on road courses compared to ovals. And this oval, being though it's 7/8 of a mile, it's wide open. It runs like a wide open, so you're running in pack for the most part, and it's a very draft dependent. So if you can manipulate the draft correctly, you might just be up front when it matters most.
Out of the top 3 in points, it shows, the stats show Scott McIntyre has the best statistics on the oval tracks. He had a 3rd place finish at New Hampshire, but he struggled at Pocono, finished 24th. But Nicholas, he got disconnected at New Hampshire, and he had a 21st at Pocono. And Harley Lewis, his only oval start, he finished 18th. But Harley's the driver to watch. He is sitting on a 3-race winning streak, Andrew, so he's going to be my guy to watch here.
Yeah, Harley has just been phenomenal as of late, winning most recently at Lime Rock Park, but winning the last 3 races, all road courses for the SRCA Pro F2000 series. So watch for the driver of the number 4 to have another good night tonight, go for 4 in a row and his 5th win on the season. That would be almost shooting 500. So definitely Harley Lewis is looking to do some really good things and come from behind, maybe have a chance at winning this championship. We have 16 drivers showing up tonight, only 10 of which turned a qualifying time, but we do want to go ahead, roll down your grid right quick. Of course, starting on pole then is going to be Elijah Gracia, and sorry, that was a whole little thing there with our ticker. Elijah Gracia starting on pole with a 22.849. Rick Ray Vaughn second place with a 22.9. In row number 2, we're going to have, of course, Spencer Madden, who I mentioned is one of the possible favorites to get his first win on the season. Travis Bennett to his outside in 4th. Starting 5th, Cole Freilich, usually commentating with us, going into the driver's seat tonight, starting 5th on the inside of row number 3. Then it's Harley Lewis, Ian Wilson, John Morgan, Scott McIntyre, and Aldis Putiklis, the 2 rivals rounding out your top 10.
How do they always end up starting in the same exact row? They did that exact same thing at Lime Rock, and now they're starting right next to each other again tonight here in Iowa.
Yeah, that's absolutely wild. But we'll look at row number 6 here. We'll have the 48 of Will Klein. He'll start to the inside of the 20 of Daniel Falkingham. Row number 7, we'll have the 68 of Tom Mercier. And to his outside, we'll have the 00 of Justin Ford. And rounding out the field, row number 8, we'll have the 111 of Russ Addy. And to his outside, we'll have Richard Coulomb.
Coulomb B. I like it. So as we get ready to get rolling tonight, again, 40 laps for each race. It's going to total out to 80 overall if we get all of those laps in. Again, looking at a 25-minute time limit to each race, and that could certainly impact things as we get ready to roll. We got the whole, well, almost the whole field. We're missing a few drivers here and there, but almost the whole field ready to go, gridding up in the pit lane. Who do you guys have? I'm just going to put you each on the spot. Who do you have, Emerson?
Well, I think this is great. Last week was a tough week for Scott McIntyre, as Chris alluded to earlier, that he has some of the best oval statistics of on the points sheet. So I'm looking for Scott McIntyre to close up that points deficit and try to put his little run-ins with Aldis Putiklis behind him and get a great run going here at Iowa.
I am going to go with the wild man, Rick Ray Vaughn. That's going to be my pick for this. He is great on ovals, and he's going to be my pick.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick the pole sitter Elijah Gracia. I think if there's anybody who would just fit in victory lane tonight, it would be Elijah Gracia. He doesn't win all that often, but he's usually always in the running or in the conversation towards the top end of the field. Elijah Gracia setting the pole over somebody like Rick Ray Vaughn. I think Elijah Gracia has a pretty good shot of winning tonight. So as we get one pace lap out of the way and get ready to go for another, again, 40 laps on tap or 25 minutes, and that's going to hold for both races tonight. Races 11 and 12, we're trying to get the season wrapped up a little bit early. The schedule was slated to feature some other racetracks and run out one race a night, of course, as usual, but a couple of schedule changes for the SRCA, trying to get the schedule wrapped up early to get some of the new cars coming to the iRacing service on the racetrack. Of course, a couple of different smaller open wheel cars coming to the service. We have the US F2000 and the Pro Mazda 18, I believe. I could be wrong on those, but as we get ready to roll out of turn number 4 and go green tonight, Elijah Gracia and Rick Ray Vaughn, your front row, exiting turn number 4, looking for the green flag. The field stacks up and is waiting to go green. The green flag flies, and we're off and away from Iowa Speedway.
Side by side the field goes. They're fanning out nearly 3 wide on the last row. As they do go 3 wide, how about up the middle? As that I believe that's the 6 of Spencer Madden trying to make it through up to second position. Now looking down the inside, looking for the race lead into turn number 3.
Madden takes the lead into turn number 3. He has got Gracia there to the second spot. Rayvon now trying to make it a three-way dance there for that second spot. But we've got to see Cole Freilich there on the bottom of the racetrack. And Rayvon, the meat in that sandwich, is ahead into turn number 1.
Cole Freilich and Spencer Madden both making quick work of the bottom side, both gaining positions, but really Spencer Madden showing the best for it. Rick Rayvon going to be behind him off into turn 3. Rayvon seems to work at the top, Madden the bottom. Behind him is going to be Travis Bennett. I don't think I've seen that name all season long. He is now in the mix as we have a 2-wide battle for the race lead. Rick Rayvon coming to the top side. That's your fastest lap for a moment. Then Tom Mercier goes a little bit faster. So now Rayvon, you going to work the bottom, going to run up out of turn 2. Is he? No, he doesn't look low. He's going to look high of Spencer Madden into 3.
This is just a true statement on how good Rick Rayvon is on these open wheel cars at ovals. He's recently just had success on Pit Stop TV this past Sunday, winning the IORL Indianapolis 500 as he goes side by side for the race lead, the SRCA F2000 race here at Iowa for the race lead on Spencer Madden.
Daniel Falkingham now setting the fastest lap of the race. We'll keep an eye on him. He sits in that 7th spot. The battle is still raging for the top spot. Spencer Madden holds the lead as they head down Tri-Oval here at Iowa Speedway. They're still side by side as we go on board right here with Cole Freilich.
As he goes fastest on the speed charts, a 22.777. So the draft playing part in these fast laps. He's right behind Travis Bennett as Rick Rayvon's going to roll around the top side of Spencer Madden. That battle for first has not lightened up a bit, and these guys now just sitting in tow. The Iowa Corn number 51, maybe looking to the high side of Bennett. Down to the turn 1, Rayvon holds the lead for a moment. Will Klein now the fastest on the racetrack. Madden gaining an edge on the bottom, but immediately Rayvon's going to get that run out of 2 and come back even with him. Drag race off into turn 3. Freilich now down to the bottom slide job maybe on Travis Bennett.
Yeah, Freilich has a huge run entering turn 3. Actually, really nowhere to go with as they're double wide in front of him. Going 3 wide would absolutely be insane with Search early in this race. So he's going to play it safe here, try to get into that 3rd position, and then see what he can do from there as Spencer Madden's still trying to get that edge on Rick Rayvon. But it's just the product of oval racing being displayed here at Iowa as these guys go side by side for laps on laps.
It looks like a high-speed parade lap as we come down the Tri-Oval to complete another lap. It is still Madden, your leader. Rick Rayvon battling with Cole Freilich, and he's got Travis Bennett right behind him. But Andrew, my goodness, it's just like we haven't even started the race yet. It's a high-speed parade lap. They are side by side, 6 rows deep.
Daniel Falkingham down to the bottom side off into turn 3. Exactly right, though, Chris. A high-speed pace lap now going 3 wide. Daniel Falkingham holds on to the bottom by just a nose. Now he's going to back out, go back up behind Bennett, off into turn 1. These guys not letting up at all. Everybody holding side by side by side by side, unless you're Daniel Falkingham, who has an open inside underneath. Teammates on the bottom side, though, and Spencer Madden and Cole Freilich trying to work around these couple of guys. It's Rick Rayvon on the top side, Travis Bennett behind him, Daniel Falkingham behind the 95. He's that 3rd car in line around the top. Elijah Gracia then 4th in line around the top. After that little bit of a gap, you have, that's going to be Harley Lewis on the bottom side, who has 4 wins in this season, comes in off of a 3-race win streak. So, not a whole lot of winners towards the front of the field, unless you're Cole Freilich or Harley Lewis. The guys that usually win these things a little further back, Aldous Puticlis, the back end of your top 10, Falkingham down to the bottom again.
So yeah, speaking of race winner, Scott McIntyre, I don't think even caught the green flag as we've completed 10 laps here at Iowa. He is 11 laps down. Richard Coulombi and Russ Addy also out of the event. 3 wide for second. Or third on my... well, now 3 wide for second.
Spencer Madden's got a hornet's nest behind him as they run 3 wide for that 2nd spot. Rayvon on the outside, Freilich in the middle, and Daniel Falkingham to the inside. As now here comes Freilich now to the lead into turn number 1 and 2. He's got that top spot of that Iowa Corn number 51 machine. But here comes Madden back to the inside, down the back straightaway, and we got to keep an eye on Falkingham. They're going to go 3, almost 4 wide into turn number 3.
That was a slide job from Cole Freilich, a crossover from Rick Rayvon. Falkingham followed Rick down to the bottom side, but got even lower. Now Rayvon side by side with Spencer Madden. This has not lifted a bit. Just switch places for a couple of these guys now as Freilich is around the top. Falkingham on the inside of Freilich. Bennett back to 3rd on the top side. Harley Lewis now almost into the top 5. He's battling Bennett as Elijah Gracia pokes to the outside of Bennett. Out of turn number 4, these guys are not relenting at all. Still side by side of Rayvon and Spencer Madden. Now, Falkingham down to the inside. Madden gives him room. Almost spooks Rick Rayvon a little bit. They sort it back out for 3rd. Oh, contact! Falkingham hangs on to it, though.
What a save from that number 20 Haas machine, able to keep that car under control in this large of a pack. That is absolutely insane, and how cool, calm, and collected he must be. I'm sure that heart rate is through the roof, though, as he looks back to the inside on Cole Freilich, looking to get back into that second position. Rick Ravon washes up the outside into turn 1 a little bit, back into turn 3. Spencer Madden still hanging it down low on Cole Freilich.
Falkingham sitting in that third spot. Ironically, that is his best finish of the year so far. Third twice at Daytona, and Watkins Glen trying to look to improve on those statistics as he works to the inside of Cole Freilich. He'll take that second spot for a split second. It's still Spencer Madden, your leader, followed by Falkingham, Freilich, Ravon, and Travis Bennett. Rounding out the top 5 as here comes Falkingham for the lead now out of turn number 3. He's going to bring Freilich and Madden with him as dancing partners down to the tri-oval.
Falkingham to the lead for the first time all night long. Now Spencer Madden on the defensive. Well, actually offensive, rather. He's going to have to try and get back around that 20 machine, working lap 17, now of 40. Freilich and Ray Vaughn side by side. Now Spencer Madden crossing Falkingham over. He's back to the bottom side. Slide job out of him. He's going for the lead, and he's going to have it. Out of turn number 4, coming to lap 18. Spencer Madden back into the lead, but he's got company. Here comes John Morgan as well into this fight. He's now 6th place, working for 5th.
Yeah, all these people up here fighting hard for this race lead, and why not? It's right in front of them, as they should be. How about Daniel Falkin? He was nearly out of this race a few laps ago, and he's duking it out for the race lead. He got himself a lap lead, and coming off of turn 4, looks like he'll have the edge to the start-finish line to get himself another lap lead.
On board right now with Morgan as he runs currently in that 6th position. We are looking on the left side of him. That is Travis Bennett ahead of him. It's the battle for the 4th and 5th position. It is Ray Vaughn now ahead of him as Freilich tries to take that 3rd spot away as Morgan running some good lap times. Now we're on board with Cole Freilich in that Corn-sponsored number 51 machine. If you need to talk about corn, Cole Freilich's the guy to go to. 3 wide for the lead, Andrew. Here we go.
Ray Vaughn off to an almost easy lead. He actually gets held up a little bit by Spencer Madden, so he can't quite get clear of that. As they're going to go 3 wide again through 3 and 4 now. That's Ray Vaughn working the bottom. Almost contact from Madden and Falkingham. Madden now stuck in the middle. You call that the sucker hole in NASCAR. Falkingham off to a lead into 1.
Right, and he's trying to clear Rick Ray Vaughn. Ray Vaughn has been trying hard all race long to try to get up there, outside, inside. This is not working out for him. These guys are keeping him at bay, knowing how good he is. He's not cleared the second. He's duking it out up in second with Cole Freilich, and now he gets in the middle of those 2 corn cars.
Got to keep an eye on Will Klein. He just set the fastest lap of the race back there in that 48 machine. He could be a contender as we go 3 wide for the lead again, or for 2nd place, excuse me. Freilich on the top side, Ray Vaughn, and then Spencer Madden on the inside of the racetrack as they roll out of turn number 4 down the tri-oval. They're still stacked up almost 3 wide. Freilich holds that 2nd spot. Ray Vaughn sitting back there in 3rd, and Madden 4th. Morgan right back there in the 5th spot.
Watching from the tower as these guys just keep going at it. Ray Vaughn around the bottom of Cole Freilich. Spencer Madden into 4th. Almost contact into 3. Falkingham continuing to lead, and he's got a bit of a gap as well. Side by side, very nearly hitting each other. Wheel to wheel were Freilich and Ray Vaughn out of 4. They keep battling side by side. The tires are starting to wear. These guys are starting to lift a bit more, and that's why you're seeing this field string out just a little bit compared to the way it was about 10 laps ago. Now, Madden down to the bottom. A big move to the inside of Ray Vaughn. It's going to stick for now. Ray Vaughn going to slide up a little bit out of 4, and he gets just barely clear of Cole Freilich. A little bit of contact, dances those cars around. John Morgan's going to follow Freilich around the top, and that's going to be Will Klein. Now, you mentioned him. He's now up into the top 5. Will Klein, 5th place of number 48 car. He's putting his name in the bag.
Daniel Falkingham is pulling away, but you're going to see the desperation ramp up back here from 2nd on back, because as you said, the tires are wearing as they cross the line with 15 laps to go here at Iowa. Tires are wearing. That means less grip, less opportunity to make up positions. The time is now if you want to get some spots. And you're going to see these drivers try anything to improve their position.
Al Morgan up to that 4th position. Freilich dropped back just a tad as they roll down the tri-oval. Still Falkingham, your leader. Going to be 14 laps remaining here at Iowa Speedway in race number 1 here. Ray Vaughn still holds that 2nd spot. Madden and now Morgan in that red number 177 machine. And Will Klein now rolling up the top 5 as we now go single file throughout the top 5.
The front of the field getting single filed out a little bit, but the battle goes on a little further back. Cole Fralick mired back in this one. Spencer Madden cleared a third. That's your 2 Iowa Corn cars update. John Morgan now in front of us, double file. Will Klein and Cole Fralick, who are on the nose of Elijah Gracia, but it's not over up front. Now John Morgan to the inside of Spencer Madden off into turn 3. Rick Ray Vaughn ahead of those. Falkingham continues to lead as now John Morgan gets a bit racy. Down to the bottom side goes the 177, and now snaking down the front stretch go Falkingham and Ray Vaughn. Fralick is right back in this. He makes a move to the inside of Klein. He's going to push Morgan around the bottom side. A little bit of a bump there for Fralick around the bottom, but he gets that thing sort of back out. Elijah Gracia behind him. Now 3 wide goes Gracia. That's for 6th place. Gracia making a big move to the inside of Fralick. It kind of sticks, and it's going to work out. No, that was Tom Mercier. Those two running very similar schemes. My bad. They were 3 wide with each other, actually. The two McLaren paints are on the bottom and top.
I've been watching John Morgan in this pack quite a bit. He's getting ever so close with his competitors, and he is not afraid to do that. He knows that the best way to get around him is to get right up next to them. Of course, these cars, they don't have fenders, so he can't get on them, but he is trying his hardest to just kind of either intimidate them or side draft them side by side for a second. And actually, for the race lead goes Spencer Madden. Rick Ray Vaughn still there in third. He has the great view of this. Ray Vaughn, gets a little...
Oh, he gets turned!
Turn 3. Cars upside down. Madden flipping in 3.
Unfortunate circumstances here for Rick Ray Vaughn and Spencer Madden, both going at it for the lead. They touched wheels, and it ended up with Madden going over and over again, and we are cautioned for the first time here at Iowa Speedway here on Pit Stop TV. We'll take a look at the replay, Andrew.
That was 30 laps of solid green flag racing, inches, centimeters apart from one another, and they finally have a slip-up. We'll watch from the tower here and see what happens. I think that's just a move from Rick Ray Vaughn to go for a hole that wasn't there. I don't think Spencer Madden did anything wrong. Rick Ray Vaughn was just trying to go for a move underneath Daniel Falkingham and clear Spencer Madden, but he wasn't quite clear to do it. Madden's going to barely miss Aldous Puticlis, but collects that Honda McLaren Mobile 1. I think that was the 68 of Mercier, not the 14 of Gracia. I think. It's hard to tell, but I believe that was Mercier, not Gracia.
Yes, it was Tom Mercier, and that really sucks. He was at the back of the pack just kind of letting this all play out, and he just gets collected last second. You hate to see it as they're on pit lane now getting repairs. We're on board with Spencer Madden as he's going to the inside there. He's going for the race lead, and you'll see Rick Ray Vaughn come into frame right about here. Oh, come on down, and he just wasn't clear. He was trying to get there, and he should. You know, he's a driver going for the race lead, but yeah, just not enough space to do that.
It is trying to thread the needle, and it's said space is very, very hard to come by here in these race cars, especially open wheel race cars. You can't. They're not like full fendered race cars. You cannot touch. You can't beat and bang on these things. You know, one little slight contact is going to send you for a ride. As we're taking a look on board of John Morgan's car, and right as we go to slow motion, right there is where he tried to thread the needle through. But, Madden didn't lift. They're both going for the lead, Andrew, and it's just, a racing incident.
Absolutely is, and it's very unfortunate to see that kind of incident, but it's what happens when you're racing centimeters apart for 30 laps, well, 40 laps, and we went green for 30 of them. My concern now is how testy these guys are going to get on this restart, because it's go time. Realistically, you have to get going at this point in the race. You have those fast fixes for those guys who were just involved, so Ray Vaughn, Madden, Mercier, they're all going to continue on. Will Klein, the only car one lap down. Scott McIntyre, Russ Addy, Richard Columbi, as Emerson mentioned, did not make the start of the race. Not sure why, but we have 13 cars still racing, albeit Will Klein one lap down. Actually, McIntyre is now in the race, so good to see him on the racetrack finally. Not sure what held him up from the start of the race earlier on. Do want to take a look at your weather coming into this race, and well, I mean, it's a fair day, I'd say, in Newton, Iowa. A little bit warm. Almost 90 degrees, actually. Track temp of almost 120, and the wind out of the northwest. Pretty calm, though.
Yeah. A little warm, perfect weather for growing corn, as I'm sure Cole Fralick would love to mention there. A nice little shout out for Fralick as he's sitting third here. How about John Morgan? If you saw back on that replay, he just barely missed a bad accident. He's now sitting pretty set second place. We'll have a good slipstream off of Daniel Falcon, and we might see something on this restart here from John Morgan.
These next 6 laps are going to be like gangbusters here, I guarantee you. Take a look at our race info here. We got 1 caution, working 4 laps on that. 7 lead changes so far in this race here at Iowa Speedway. Andrew, if the first part of this race is going to be any indication, these next 6 laps, it's going to be wild. Buckle up.
Absolutely. I mean, these guys just did 30 laps green flag racing when we weren't sure if we were going to get all 40 laps in. So, the first half of tonight's festivities out of the way pretty quickly, even if we have a couple of cautions here at the end of the race. That was really quick there for race number 11 of 15 on the season, race number 1 of 2 on the evening. So we'll get the 1 green signal. The pace truck lights will shut off right there across the start finish. These guys will be going back green flag racing this time out of turn number 4. Daniel Falkingham, your leader, over John Morgan, Cole Freilich, Elijah Drew Gracia, Aldous Putiklis, Travis Bennett, Harley Lewis, Ian Wilson, Justin Ford, and Spencer Madden.
Yep, we'll see Rick Ray Vaughan, Tom Mercier. They'll queue up at the back of the grid, or actually, they're ahead of Will Klein and McIntyre, who are rejoining the race. But yep. Double wide and ready to go. We're going to have 4 laps on this restart. It will definitely be a fun one here at Iowa.
Pace truck is going to be able to pull off the speedway. We're going to go green flag racing here. There's going to be just 4 laps to go as we cross the start-finish line. It's going to be Falkingham and Morgan. Your front row, Gracia and Freilich in row number 2. And he's been quiet this whole race. Puteklis, as we go green flag racing, Andrew, 4 laps to go.
A big start for Falkingham, already off and clear from the field by a large margin into 1 and 2. Morgan loses second to Cole Freilich. Now Putiklis through to 4th and looking for 3rd. He's got a damaged front wing, though. It's going to hold that 666 up just a little bit. Now side by side go Lewis and Bennett into 3, almost making contact. Elijah Gracia side by side with Putiklis. Putiklis just can't hang with that front wing damage.
Yeah, it's tough. You see him dropping down the pack quickly, but here comes Cole Freilich up to Daniel Falkingham. And it was great to get that big lead to kind of breathe for a little bit. With 3 laps to go here, I'm not sure Cole Freilich is going to take it easy on Daniel Falkingham. He dives to the inside, trying to get a nose under there. He couldn't get there, but he'll be right behind him as this contact.
Oh, they're wrecking in the back. Putiklis involved. Ray Vaughan up and over.
3 of Rick Ray Vaughan.
Wow, Rick Ray Vaughan's tough race continues. He ends up upside down, and Putiklis gets taken out with him. So now he's going to have more to worry about than that damaged front wing, as the 00 machine of Ford also involved as well, as we are working another caution here. And with only 3 laps to go, this may be it.
We should get at least 1 green-white checkered. We'll see what happens as Putiklis just pushes up into Ray Vaughan. Ray Vaughan, damaged, comes back down the racetrack and clips Putiklis, and it's on from there. You see Ray Vaughan's wild ride there, center of your screen. And oh my gosh, the spinning Tom Mercier collects Ian Wilson, and Wilson just comes in there like a bat out of hell. And wow, he hit that wall a ton after thinking he was through it and just barely getting clipped. We'll take a couple more looks at this, and Putiklis is just going to push up out of turn 4 here. We'll go on board and watch. That car just was not handling right. He pushes up into Rick Ray Vaughan, and then you see Ray Vaughan's broken. He's trying to correct, clips Putiklis, and then we'll go on board here for a moment, but then back to Ian Wilson, who actually turned, I think that was, yeah, so I think he turned Tom Mercier, who then, while wrecking, turned him back. Oh, and McIntyre gets involved at the very end.
Yeah, that sucks for McIntyre. I mean, he's 33 laps off the pace. He was just trying to, get to the end, literally just to finish. There was no positions he can gain, and just, gets caught up in an accident too. That really sucks for him. Just several cars taken out there at the end. We are going to get 1 GWC attempt pending time. We are sitting at 1:40 remaining in the session. We'll see.
Now, how much of I'm going to ask you this, Andrew. How much of a factor do you think that broken wing on Putiklis' car had in this accident?
Tons. He was lacking front downforce, and the front downforce and floor pan damage is what was holding the 666 back, and then just lacking a bit of front downforce compared to rear downforce changed the balance on that race car and caused him to push up, have to rely on the front wheels a bit more. And the car just started pushing up out of the corner. He got tight and got into Rick Ray Vaughan, and that's the trouble of racing so close. And Aldis was a victim in that previous incident where Spencer Madden just barely clipped him, and unfortunately that ended up inadvertently causing that incident. And very, very unfortunate that so many other cars were involved. We'll set up with, it looks like, still planning on that green-white checker, but this thing might end under yellow.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate to see it end under yellow, but what a great race it was. Like, we've had, 30 laps of green flag racing and then 2 quick cautions here, but, just accidents from these people, 2 of them involving Rick Ray Vaughn. It just shows the intensity was picking up there at the end. We are trying to see if we can get this thing restarted, but it's not looking good. We'll see what happens here. Daniel Falkenham currently leads over Cole Freilich and John Morgan, the top 3.
Falkingham trying to improve on his best finish of the year. Currently a 3rd place, both at Daytona and at Watkins Glen. He's had one more top 10 on top of that at Lime Rock last week. So he's in the catbird seat right now, depending on what happens here.
And Falkingham has been great in the IndyCar World Series, just hasn't had the same luck over here in the Pro Mazdas, and doesn't race very often in the Pro Mazdas either. So hasn't quite had the same success as we try to set up for another run at it here. These guys keep pacing around. We'll see exactly how things end up looking. The pace car lights stay on, which concerns me. By this point, we should at least be 1 to green. We might be ending this thing under caution, unfortunately.
Yeah, that looks about it. It says 25 minutes have elapsed, but I guess we have to take into account the grid time and pace laps. But yeah, it's still not looking pretty. We still haven't taken 1 to go. This could be 2 to go. We might get a 1 lap shootout, maybe. There's a lot of what ifs can happen here, but nonetheless, great run for John Morgan. You saw he was just working his way up through the field methodically, tactically, cutting through the field, slicing through the field, I would say, and just up to your 3rd. Wishes he could have another go at it, especially because he would be restarting on the inside. We'll see what happens here as the pace truck comes to the start-finish line now.
That's always going to be my hill to die on, that I'm always going to be a proponent of races never finishing under yellow. I want to see it, I want to see it drug down to the green flag, the checkered flag. I want to see a true outright winner. That's always going to be my hill to die on, though.
Well, it seems like we're going back green at least for 1 lap, if not 2, because pace truck lights are off. These guys are doubling up and getting ready to go green. We'll see exactly what happens, but we do show 3 laps to go. We show the pace truck lights have gone dim, and these cars are doubling up, sans the 4 or 5 at the back that are single file by virtue of some penalties, be it exiting the pit lane too late or whatever. They've just been told to line up single file at the back by iRacing. So the SRCA Pro F2000 Series Race 11 of 15 will not end under caution. We'll go back racing for a green, white, checkered, or maybe even just a green checkered. We'll have to wait and find out and see if these guys race it out for both laps. Daniel Falkingham, your leader. Freilich to the outside. Morgan 3rd. Gracia 4th. Come to the green flag. We're off and away for at least 1, if not 2 more laps of racing at Iowa.
All the way down to the apron goes Falkingham. Cole Freilich clears the 2nd position. What can Cole Freilich do? Falkingham did not get the jump he got last time. Again, a great run through turn 2. He dives to the inside. We'll go side by side into turn 3 as he comes to the final lap. A little bit of contact back there with the baby blue car. They're going through, maybe 4 wide for back.
Out of turn number 4 down to the trial, but still going to be Falkingham and Freilich duking it out for the lead. It is still Freilich there by a nose as they come across down to turn number 1. It's going to be Falkingham trying to get that lead back as they come out of turn number 2, Andrew, for the final time down the back straightaway.
Spencer Madden has entered the battle. He is racing for 3rd. He's going to get it underneath John Morgan, but the fight is on for 1st. Drag race out of turn number 4. It's going to be Freilich Falkingham over Freilich. Daniel Falkingham wins it.
Yep, Daniel Falkingham barely edged him out there. Somebody went crashing there at the back. I can't tell. Might have. Oh, I have no idea. It was, I think, the 4 Harley Lewis crashed on the back straightaway there. Yep, there's the replay. Wow.
Wow, does it get any better than 7 thousandths of a second, Andrew? That is about as close as you can get. We'll take a look at the replay here as they come across the start-finish line. I didn't know who won it when they crossed the finish line, but I'm glad we've got instant replay.
They separated, so it's going to be hard to keep it in one shot, but you see it there, kind of. Wow, that was close. That Wow, I'm beyond impressed by that little run to the line. We'll watch it a couple more times. This from the tower. As slow as we can get it here across the line. It's that much between those two. You mentioned it, Chris. 7/1000ths of a second. I can't believe it out of these two. Wow. I'm at a loss for words.
It does not get better than that. I mean, you can't even tell the difference at the line. Look at that. Just they're basically even at the line. I mean, you can see Falkenham edge out Freilich. Of course, it was 7/1000ths, but just wow. In a race well deserving of a great finish, definitely got that great finish. Yeah, I'm at a loss for words myself.
And guys, you know what the best about this is? We get to do it all over again here in just a little bit.
That we do, but first up, we have a couple of drivers to talk to. I already see a couple of them. We'll go ahead and bring in your race winner first. It's going to be Daniel Falkenham. And Daniel, do you have a copy?
10-4.
Daniel, what a race! 7/1000ths of a second end up deciding it. Man, how's that one feel?
It feels pretty good to be able to pull that one off because I didn't want those cautions because I knew restart's going to be important and draft was going to be so important. And I knew we had a good shot to win this thing after we drove through the field. I decided not qualify because I wanted to have some fun trying to pass cars because I knew it would be pretty easy to pass and stuff with the draft and everything. And we were able to get to the front, and I think we held a pretty solid lead until the yellow came out. And, yeah, my problem was I didn't get a good enough restart on that last restart like I did on the previous one where Cole had my draft when he was able to hang with me. And but yeah, it feels pretty good to pull that one off, especially ripping the high line on the last lap. Cole was playing defense, and I just had the better run off the top because the top you definitely wanted to be on, especially in 1 and 2. But 3 and 4, I feel like the bottom was much more better than 1 and 2. But definitely feels good to pull this one off because it was so hard to keep the lead in this one, and especially on the late race restarts, we were able to hold them off. So it feels pretty good.
Yeah, we aren't always talking to you as the winner after these Pro Mazda races. I know you raced this thing a lot more part-time than the IndyCar World Series, but a big win tonight at Iowa, and we get to do it all over again here in just a few moments. How do you feel about race number 2 on the night?
Definitely should go pretty good. Race number 2. Hopefully we can pull off the win there and get max points. I know we led the most laps here, so we got good points there too. And new ovals, like ovals being my strong suit, and especially the Pro Mazdas where I haven't shined on the road courses lately, which hopefully I can gain all those points I've lost and maybe gain max points on all the guys up near the top of the points. So, yeah, when I'm not wrecking on road courses, I'm doing pretty good on the ovals. So hopefully we can keep this momentum into the next race.
So looking forward to really the reason that we're doing these double headers, the new car coming in just a few weeks. A couple of new open wheel cars. How excited are you for those?
I'm excited for the new cars. I've seen the videos of them, and they're looking forward to those new cars. Looking forward because they got more horsepower and they look a lot more like race cars and stuff. So I'm looking forward to driving those next season. So I'm hoping next season gets started as soon as it can once the new cars release. So. But anyways, I like what Elijah's doing with these double headers and stuff so we can get the season over and done with quickly. That would make the races go by, and they're much shorter races too. So that's kind of like sprint races almost. So it's going to be cool to get this series done and over with and look forward to the new car, which I kind of hope I have more success in.
I think we need to keep this format all the time because that was just amazing racing. 30 laps went green flag between you guys and a nice little run to the end there, a nice little sprint. But who do you have to thank for this win tonight in race number 1 on the evening?
Yeah, I got to thank Elijah for putting on this league every Thursday night. It's always fun to come and do these races on Thursdays, right before NIS and whatnot. I got to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast for on Pit Stop TV. It was fun to go back and watch these. I'll definitely have to go back and watch the race after that insane finish and insane race we had. And thanks to everyone who's watching and everyone who's watching my stream as well.
Well, there you have it. Daniel Falkenham, race winner tonight from Iowa. We'll be talking to you, I'm sure, here in just a little while. Good luck in race number 2.
Appreciate it, Andrew.
And so that is Daniel Falkenham, race winner. But we got to talk to that runner-up. And for that, I'll turn it over to Emerson Ardon.
Hey, Cole, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right, well, I know it wasn't what you wanted, but a second place here in good old cornfields of Iowa. How does that one feel?
Yeah, it was a bit of a good finish for the corn car. You know, can't disrespect corn at all. So, but yeah, all jokes aside about the corn car and all that, that was a really good finish. I was just trying to prove to Andrew up here that sometimes I could actually drive the car, and like when New Hampshire, my brain fade happened. But yeah, I was just trying to keep the inside there on the restart, and I knew Daniel was going to be good on the outside because me and him had ran about 20 laps together during practice, just crossing each other over, slide jobs galore. So yeah, heading into turn 3, I was gonna try to send it as hard as I could, but I didn't get really a good entry into there and didn't get the angle I quite wanted. So it kind of just slid up a little bit, and then I realized I was turning way too much on the exit, and it just he got me there barely. But maybe in race 2 we can get him.
Right on. Yeah, I guess you kind of answered it, but one of my stock questions when I interview drivers, especially second place, is what could you have done differently to get just those 7 1000s back?
Yeah, I think number 1 was taking the top on that last lap. I kind of screwed myself taking the bottom because I kind of ran a shallow line because I knew Daniel was going to have the run, and I didn't want to slide up and kill him. So yeah, really, taking that bottom, it's key, but the way we had the air, or the way the air temperature was on the track temps, it was just way too hot to really stay on the bottom well enough to hold it. So I knew Daniel was going to have to run it on the outside, and I should have took the outside in the first place, but he just had such of a run. I just didn't think I could get him if he was able to clear me. I didn't know if I could cross him back over for it.
Right. So it wasn't that many, but it was still 2 caution periods, and under that last caution period, there was the unknown if you would actually get that restart going. Did you know if you were going to get back going, or if it was going to finish under caution, and what was kind of going through your mind?
I think it was about the 2nd or 3rd lap we were actually pacing that I even knew there was a time limit because Daniel keyed up and said, "Hey, we got 4 minutes in the session left." Or no, maybe it was Will, one of them. They said hey, we have 4 minutes in the session left. I was like, oh, so yeah, about 2 minutes of pace, because I think it was 2 to go at that point. So we had about 2 more minutes of pacing. And I was really just kind of hoping we got it in. I kind of figured we would get it in just because we're running about 25 seconds around here, 23 seconds actually. So I wasn't really too worried about that. I was going to be happy if I got a 2nd place anyway. I would have liked to win like I did at Pocono, but we got another race, so hopefully I can get it done there.
The first of those 2 restarts, you saw Daniel Falkenham get out to a huge lead. What did you do differently on that 2nd restart that kind of prevented him from getting such a big lead and allowed you to have the run on that final lap?
It was really just my experience with Daniel, because on that first restart, I noticed John just kind of was sleeping there, but I got a really good restart on that one. That's what got me up to 2nd. So really, I was just staying as close to Daniel's car as I could to watch when he went, and as soon as I even heard that car rev up, I just went for it. So yeah, that was really the key to restarting there, and I expect more of the same the next race. I don't really know how we're setting the grid, but
right. Well, my final question was going to be, what can you take from this first race into this next race here? It's the exact same track.
I think the track's going to be a little different because we're a little bit later in the afternoon now, but yeah, I think the track will probably be a little bit cooler, allow for some more runs on the bottom there, and really allow for us to hold it down there a lot better. So I'm going to really try to work the lanes as much as I can, try to stay up front like we did that first race, and hopefully we end up winning.
Right on. So wishes to you. Do you have any way to thank for your 2nd place finish in this run tonight?
I just want to thank myself for actually driving the car and not hitting the wall for once. Thank you guys for letting me go do this tonight. Thanks to Spencer for painting up the meme cars for the night, and thanks to Elijah for putting on this race.
Right on. Well, congratulations on your 2nd place finish, and good luck to you in just a few minutes' time.
All right, thanks guys. Join you in the booth next week, I guess.
And so that's Cole Freilich. Always a bit happy as usual, I think, to get a pretty good finish. And he mentioned it. He should be back in the booth next week. He's usually with us up here, but taking a break this week to go and race, and it's paying off so far, a P2. But we have one more driver to talk to before switching between races. It's Elijah Gracia, who finished 5th place. And for that, I'll turn it over to Chris Nunn.
Well, Elijah, you got a copy up here in the booth?
Yes, I do.
Fifth place finish, pretty consistent. You had a bird's eye view of that wild finish. Just take us through it in your eyes.
Yeah, it was. Daniel got a pretty decent restart there, and I was surprised they were that close at the line. But that was really good for finish for the first race, I'd say.
Now, Iowa Speedway, it's always been conducive to great side-by-side, really close racing. What was your... Well, take us back to the beginning of the race. What was your strategy to start with? Or did you have one, or did it all go out the window after those cautions?
I wouldn't say I had one, but I wasn't unsure how everybody was going to be driving out there. So I wouldn't say I had a strategy at first, but then I tried to, I guess, format something at the end, but it just got a little too crazy, trying to make moves since everybody was so close.
Now, going into this next race, I mean, obviously the track's going to be a little bit different due to, getting later on in the afternoon. What do you take going from this race to put towards the next race?
There's definitely going to be a little more grip, but the bottom is still going to be hard to stay down there, so definitely should be some good side-by-side action for sure, though, here at Iowa.
Doing these double headers each night, it's such a great idea. Personally, I think it's such a great idea. What was the thought process in going into these double headers?
Well, I definitely want to shorten up the season, especially with the new car coming out shortly. So, and these shorter races, they're definitely putting a lot more action, I'd say. So it's definitely pretty interesting to see, and definitely interesting in the race.
Who you got helping you out that you want to give thanks to?
Definitely you guys for broadcasting and everybody who raced the last one. That was amazing going, 31 laps in that 40-lap race. Well, besides agreeing about checkered. Before we got the yellow, there was some really good racing, and it was pretty clean, and it's pretty proud of the guys. So. All
right, congratulations on your fifth place finish.
All right, thank you.
That is Elijah Gracia here. Got fifth place finish here at Iowa Speedway.
So we will, of course, then start to wrap things up. We got to thank everybody for tuning in for race number 1, but it's not over. We still have a whole race ahead, a whole extra 40 laps of racing. Of course, could be limited down to those 25 minutes if things take too long. But takeaways real quick from this race, guys. What's your biggest takeaway, Emerson?
The biggest one was just how important that draft was. I mentioned it at the start of the broadcast that draft was going to be key here at these ovals, as it usually is in pretty much any type of oval racing, especially open wheel oval racing. But you saw just how much of a factor it played in Cole Freilich having an opportunity to win there at the end, just couldn't pull it off of turn 4. I think that was the biggest takeaway was the slipstream.
I mean, Iowa Speedway, you never know what you're going to get with this place. I have seen so many barn burners at this racetrack. Obviously, you can't pick a winner because you don't know who's going to win. I thought Rayvon was going to have it in the bag, but you saw what happened there. As close as these guys are getting, just one little touch, it's going to set off a chain reaction. So I don't think I'm even going to try to pick a winner in this next race.
Well, we will go ahead and get set then to transfer over to race number 2. The skies will dim just a bit. The lights will come on. We'll go night racing here in just a little while from Iowa Speedway. This is the SRCA Pro F2000 series. We just finished up race 11 of 15. We're going on to race number 12 of 15, race 2 on the night. We'll be right back to you in just a few moments from Iowa Speedway here on Pit Stop TV. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, race fans, to Iowa Speedway. Well, I shouldn't say the lights have come on, but the skies have dimmed just a bit. You can see the sun is starting to head down over the horizon, but we still have a little bit of daylight, a little bit of heat in the sky and track, and that's going to keep things just a little bit iffy for these guys. Of course, once the lights go down a bit, once the lights come on and the sun goes down a bit, the track is going to grip up a little bit. We'll see how this sunset timing does for these guys as they wrap up qualifying. We'll take a look at how much it's cooled down. It's still right around 90 degrees ambient temp, but you can see almost a 30-degree difference for track temp, down to 93 degrees Fahrenheit. Much calmer winds now out of the northeast, but rising a slight bit back to where they were in race number 1. It's race number 2 for the SRCA Pro F2000 series from Iowa Speedway, race 12 of 15 on the season. Drivers qualifying, setting their fast lap times. Rick Rayvon goes to the top of the board. Aldous Puticlus second, Spencer Madden third. Then it's Elijah Gracia, Timothy Bates, Scott McIntyre, Travis Bennett, Cole Freilich, Harley Lewis, and Russ Addy, your current top 10.
Yeah, so we saw in that last race, Scott McIntyre wasn't able to even really take the green flag. I think he got onto the track 32 laps into the event, so it'll be interesting to see. He's actually able to set a qualifying time down. He's sat 6th on the chart at the moment, and we'll see how he does. He'll be starting middle of the pack. I believe he's still on a 2nd lap right now.
Now, see, after that last race, we got to think that Rayvon and Puteklis, they got something to prove here. On Rayvon, his resume speaks for itself. He doesn't have anything to prove on these circle tracks, but Puteklis, he's got that stigma, of not doing very well on the ovals. He's got something to prove here tonight.
Yeah, Puticlus is one of the drivers to beat on any road course in any car, usually at least in the SRCA. Coming to an oval, though, generally things get shaken up just a bit for him. He's usually still quick, just not necessarily battling for those same wins as usual. We'll go ahead and take a quick look at your grid, though. Lining up on pole, going to be Rick Rayvon and Aldous Puticlus. To the outside pole, on the outside of row number 1. Row number 2 gives us Spencer Madden, and he's holding his position from race number 1, at least for the finish, and will be rolling off in 3rd. Then it's Elijah Gracia in 4th. Timothy Bates, who did not make race number 1. I think he's a late addition to the league, actually, going to roll off in the 5th position. Scott McIntyre to his outside. 7th place gives us Travis Bennett, who looked so good there in race number 1, but ended up falling back towards the end. Cole Freilich times in 8th. And it's Harley Lewis and Russ Addy rounding out your top 10.
Starting P11 inside of row number 6, we'll have the 177 of John Morgan. He had a great run there. Was up in 3rd before that final restart. Not quite exactly sure where he finished. How about Ian Wilson to his outside in row number 6 there? We'll have in row 7, inside of row 7, we'll have the number 20 of Daniel Falkingham. Obviously just won the race a few minutes ago. We'll see if he can pull off the double here today. To his outside, we'll have the number 68 of Tom Mercier. And in row number 8, we'll have the 43 of Sheldon Locke and the 00 of Justin Ford.
Now, Falkingham, he came from deep in that last race, so I can't put it past him to do it again the way he's been running.
Absolutely not. I think everybody in this field is capable of winning. Even guys like Sheldon Locke, Ian Wilson, who we don't usually see towards the front of the field. Even Justin Ford, Russ Addy, who I don't think we've talked about in winning a race at all this season. We love Justin Ford and Russ Addy, though. Justin Ford is definitely an entertaining guy all the time, and we love those guys. But as these guys roll off of the grid and get up to speed, get some heat in those tires, and get ready to go racing once again for 40 laps or 25 minutes if things take a little too long. We saw that green-white checker. These guys actually raced for, I think, 45, 46 laps in the previous attempt. So as things get ready to get going for race number 2 on the night, race number 12 on the season, we'll go ahead and show your points coming. That's the wrong one. Again, I did the same exact thing. The points coming into tonight. There we go. This was ahead of the previous race we just had, where Daniel Falkingham walked away a winner. Cole Freilich, who's not in this top 10, came away 2nd. And Spencer Madden, who does come in 9th, came home 3rd in that previous event. And guys towards the top, Aldous Puticlus, Harley Lewis, they both had issues at the end of race number 1. I'm not so sure how they're going to be looking going into next, 2 weeks from now, Montreal in a couple of weeks in the point standings, but they can make some ground back up here in race number 2 on the night. So it's ready to roll off out of turn number 4 here in just a moment. Again, Rick Ray Vaughn, who we saw win the IORL Indianapolis 500 just this past weekend, now on pole for race number 2 on the night. He's got some good company with him, though, such as Aldis Putelis, who's been so good in these Pro F2000s all season long. Exiting turn number 4 for the final time before going green once more. Green flag is in the air. They're off and away. Rick Ray Vaughn, your leader at Iowa Speedway.
And Rick Ray Vaughn is able to clear Aldis Putelis, but Putelis has some company to his inside. Looks at 6 of Spencer Madden. Madden was very strong in that second race, so we're already off and away here into the action. 3 wide for second. And wow, is that that's Elijah Grassi up the outside trying to make some noise up here. How about Spencer Madden to the inside of Rick Ray Vaughn across the stripe. 3 wide heading into turn 1.
3 wide indeed, heading into turn number 1. Madden on the bottom of the racetrack. It's Ray Vaughn, and here comes McIntyre to the inside of Putelis. We're going to keep a definite eye on that battle as they roll into turn number 3. As, like I say, no love lost between those two drivers. They stick it side by side for that 3rd spot out of turn number 4.
Across the line, Ray Vaughn and Spencer Madden almost dead even now. It's going to be actually, that's Cole Fralick on the top side in contact with Scott McIntyre. He's up in the air. Travis Bennett, I think, gave him the contact to send him around on a massive junk in turn number 2, coming a whole lot earlier. In fact, 10 times as early here in race number 2 on the night as opposed to race number 1. And Ian Wilson also involved. You see him wreck again. Scott McIntyre's car equally as damaged, trying to crab walk back to the pit lane. A big smash him up in turn number 2. We'll go ahead, get a replay on your screen and see what happened to cause this one.
Oh my goodness, just if you couldn't feel it anymore. I think it was Putelis and McIntyre making contact. Nope, that is incorrect. Never mind, I guess my replay was wrong.
No, I think that did start it. We'll go a little further back here and try and see. I think contact between those two initially starts it. I think Putelis might have been a little slow on the bottom and trying to get back down to the bottom side. See the green car go down. So the 16 of McIntyre has to lift, and Putelis was barely clear to do that. That slows McIntyre up, and that's why Bennett gets in the back of him and spins him around. Daniel Falkingham narrowly missing that. Harley Lewis involved. Travis Bennett slaps Ian Wilson, sends him up and over as well. Justin Ford narrowly gets through that. So it was an issue with Aldis Putelis, ultimately that ends up in Scott McIntyre's demise. But I don't know if he necessarily did anything wrong. He's going for the lead here early in the race.
No, it wasn't intentional. I don't think he was just, trying to get down to that inside, get some prime real estate heading into turn 1. But wow, if you just couldn't feel it anymore, it would be Putelis and McIntyre getting together early here in race number 12.
Was just checking online. We got an updated point standings. Nothing has changed in the top 5. The top 5 remain the same. It's Putelis, Lewis, McIntyre, Addy, and Morgan. Garcia is still 6th in the points. Wilson runs 7th. Spencer Madden and now moves up to the 8th spot in points. Justin Ford moves up to 9th, and Mark Redbender remains in that 10th spot. So that's your updated top 10 in points.
So Scott McIntyre holding on to 3rd, but just barely over teammate Russ Addy. And that's why it's so important to get out on the racetrack, even just for a couple of laps, and get some laps down. Make sure you get those points on the night. Aldis Putelis, I think, he does lengthen his points lead by a bit over Harley Lewis. I'm trying to do some quick math in my head, and it's not quite working, but he does lengthen his points lead by just a bit, which is good for him, but definitely not so good for Harley Lewis and Scott McIntyre. Both of those two involved just a little bit in that incident in turn number 2. But we're under caution on lap 6 of 40 as these guys continue to pace. We can see most of the field is recovered and gotten back in line. Rick Ray Vaughn in 2nd, Aldis Putelis 3rd, Cole Fralick in 4th. Then it's Bates, Gracia, Morgan, Addy, Ford, and Harley Lewis hanging on to your top 10 for now. That streak of wins, though, over for Harley Lewis. It was 3, almost 4 going into the previous race tonight from Iowa. He's going to see if he can maybe restart that, though, as we go into race 12. He's got 4 left, so he could actually one-up himself if he wins this thing.
All right, Harley Lewis up there in points. Just a quick note: all three of the top three, maybe even the top four in the points at the last race ever got collected in the last accident of the race. Or you saw Pudiclis got collected. Pretty much caused the last accident of the race. Harley Lewis wrecked on the last lap, and Scott McIntyre was not able to start until 32 laps into the event. So all three of them having issues there in that race earlier tonight, and that just proved this race to be even more important heading in here. And it not looking good already for Scott McIntyre, but he has only scored one lap down. We'll see if we can get back into this thing.
And you were right, Pudiclis opening up his gap in the points. He had 28 points separating him and Lewis before the first race. Now it is 36 points, so he gained 8 points. So we're going back to green flag racing here, Andrew. What's on lap number 7?
Green, green, green.
Spencer Madden off and away, side by side are Ray Vaughn and Pudiclis. Pudiclis, though, going to lift, it looks like. Get Ray Vaughn in line on the bottom. No, he keeps his nose there, and finally Ray Vaughn is clear. Cole Freilich with these guys, the top 5 all single file, all the way through. Elijah Gracia all the way through most of the field, actually, because Timothy Bates also on his own, but now they start racing up there for first. It's Ray Vaughn to the outside of Madden. Here comes Pudiclis and Freilich.
We already saw how aggressive Pudiclis was, and how about taking it to the middle? 3 wide for the race lead. He's trying to pin Spencer Madden down there to try to work around the outside. Madden clear for the time being. Here comes Cole Freilich up the inside. There's still 3 wide.
Cole Freilich's got some unfinished business from this first race. He's got to try to advance onto that second place finish, and he is trying to he's working himself up there like gangbusters. Now going to the outside of Pudiclis. Falkingham, we're going to keep an eye on him again. It's fastest lap of the race so far, 22.201. It's Madden, Pudiclis, Gracia, Freilich, and Bates rounding out the top 5.
This field already right back at it. Not quite the pack race we saw in race 1, but race 2, not disappointing so far. As Freilich going to work the top side now. Pudiclis 3 wide for your lead off into 1. 3 wide for 4th behind them. Ray Vaughn backs out of it. That's Bates to his inside. Falkingham now into the top 5. Here comes Gracia down to the bottom to the inside of Pudiclis. 4 wide off into turn 3. Go Rick Ray Vaughn over Falkingham, over Pudiclis, over Gracia. They sorted out now 2 wide out of turn 4, but 4 wide for a moment. Go these SRCA Pro F2000 Series drivers. 4 wide again off into turn 1.
As I mentioned at the start of this broadcast, that this track is wide enough for these guys to go that wide. How about Falkingham to the outside looking for that race lead? 3 wide still. I think we're going to be saying that for quite a few laps. And how about the corn cars, first and second, side by side? Spencer Madden and Cole Freilich leading this field.
On board with Bates now as he looks ahead at that battle up there. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. You can throw one of Grandma's baby blankets over those cars as they go down the back straightaway. Pudiclis had to kind of juke and jive there to keep from hitting Falkingham's machine. As Falkingham, is like he did last race, he's coming from deep onto the field. He's already moved himself up to the 4th spot, Andrew. I think he is going to be the one to beat here.
Absolutely. In fact, we'll go on board with him now as he works to the outside of Spencer Madden. He is going for the race lead out of turn number 2. He's almost got it side by side down the back straightaway. Now 3 wide again off into turn 3. Go the corn cars with Falkingham in the middle. Here comes Gracia down the bottom. Rick Ray Vaughn a run up top. Timothy Bates looking to the middle of that battle as well. 3 wide again across the start finish and into turn 1. Lap 15 of 40. These guys racing like it's lap 40.
As they are. Daniel Falkingham mentioned it in his post-race interview after the first race this evening that it's so easy to pass here, and right it is. It took him 14 laps to get to the race lead, and there was 14 fun ones at that. Even some of them under caution. How about diving to the inside is Cole Freilich. 3 wide once again, but all pinning down there to the inside. Freilich backs off. Madden back to the lead.
How did Freilich not take himself or 3 other cars out, slinging it down as fast as he did? That's good car control right there from Freilich as they go 3 wide. It's Freilich, Falkingham, and Bates, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Madden, he's got to be, he knows they're right behind him. Now Falkingham to the outside. They're 3 wide back there for the 3rd spot again, but the battle is up front between Madden and Falkingham here down the back straightaway.
Sheldon Lockie has entered the chat. He's in 3rd. He's to the outside of Freilich now, and he's going to clear that 51, it looks like, out of turn number 4. He does. So now he's going to go after Daniel Falkingham and Spencer Madden. There he goes to the outside. No, he thinks, oh, almost contact. He almost right-hooked Falkingham off into 1. Now he slips back in behind him. Sheldon Lockie looking for a spot here. We don't usually talk about him going for a win, but he's trying. Now he makes contact with Falkingham, and they're stuck in the turn 3 wall.
Caution is out.
And I was just about to say that Sheldon Lockheed, like Daniel Falkingham, started at the back of the pack, and they were working their way up through the field, and you just hate to see it. The contact there, they were racing for it hard, and it ends both of their races, at least for the time being. You hate to see it.
Yeah, that is just close quarters racing right there in open wheel. We're going to take a look at the instant replay as they try to go 3 wide for the lead. As they're going to slow it down just a tad, you're going to see Lockie right there get into the rear end of Falkingham, and over they go, and they just stuck it like a lawn dart right there into that backstretch wall.
And it's tough to tell exactly what led to it. It seemed like a couple of moves out of Madden, Falkingham, and Lockie just led to trying to anticipate what everybody was doing. Nope, there was the next lap for that. So we'll go back to full speed here, and we'll try and set this one up for you. We'll actually go on board then with Sheldon Lockie and try to figure out what happens here, because I really don't know what caused it. I know the end result, though, and it doesn't look good for Sheldon Lockie or Daniel Falkingham, unfortunately. We'll slow it down here for you and try to figure it out from Lockie's perspective. In fact, we'll even get this out of the way because I just want to see this. And, yeah, I mean, the end result, of course, is Lockie turns left, but I think he was trying to follow what they were doing on the bottom side, and that's just a product of close quarters racing, because obviously Sheldon didn't want to get himself lodged in a safer barrier, so he clearly didn't do that on purpose. It clearly wasn't intentional, but the end result still doesn't help either one of them.
Yeah, of course, it's not intentional. These guys, they are racing so hard for their race lead, as they should, and it was a lot of fun. Again, the replay is still so hard to tell. Maybe somebody zigged when they should have zagged, but it was still just very close quarters racing, as Chris alluded to. It's tough. Open-wheeled race cars racing that tight right next to each other on a high-speed oval in terms of these cars. It's tough. It really is to keep these races clean, and that's just a factor of this racing.
Yeah, you can't beat and bang on each other like you can in a full-bodied race car, like a late model or a NASCAR or a stock car. You touch even slightly, you're going to be into the wall, as we have found out at least 2 or 3 times today. But who's got to be flashing a smile on his face right now is Cole Freilich, as he does not have Falkingham to deal with at an end of a race right here. And Freilich, to me, he seems like he's been the best car other than Falkingham today.
Yeah, I would put Spencer Madden into that conversation as well. I would say there's been 3 guys who have figured this thing out, and they've been 3 wide for most of tonight's racing. Spencer Madden, Cole Freilich, and Daniel Falkingham clearly have this thing figured out, and they've all 3 been very fast and very aggressive and have led a lot of laps so far tonight. Falkingham led 29 en route to a victory in race number 1 on the evening, so those guys clearly have these things working in their favors. But I do want to talk about a couple other guys. Aldous Puticlis back into this front lead battle. He'll be restarting in 4th position. Russ Addy then in 5th. Timothy Bates in 6th. These guys hanging on to some pretty good runs. And John Morgan is back into this thing as well. He is sitting 7th place with Travis Bennett behind him in 8th. And even Harley Lewis is in a pretty good spot. He's 9th. So all the way through this top 10, these guys are still in contention to do a lot of good things. I mean, Chris, you've been mentioning it a ton so far tonight. Falkingham came from behind to win that first event. These guys can absolutely do the exact same thing here with just 19 coming to 18 laps to go. Looks like we'll restart with 17 still left on the board.
Right, and even outside the top 10, we have Scott McIntyre back onto the lead lap. Remember, early in this event, he got into an accident, making contact. I believe it was with Harley Lewis. He did make contact with Puticlis as well that set off that incident. And then obviously not being able to start last race. So he needs a good run here, and he's sat just outside the top 10 now. How important it would be for him to slice and dice his way up through the field and get some positions. Another person I want to input into that conversation from earlier about Spencer Madden, Cole Freilich, and Daniel Falkingham. I think Rick Ray Vaughn, though he hasn't been up there as much, he's just always good when it comes to open wheel racing, especially on ovals, and he's been up here a lot tonight. Obviously got into that accident late in the last race. We'll see what he can do as he restarts 3rd there on the inside behind Spencer Madden.
Yeah, as crazy as this may sound, I am still not counting Falkingham out. He is still on the racetrack, and he's still on the lead lap, so I can't count him out yet.
Absolutely not. So these guys get ready to go back racing for another almost 20 laps this time. We've got 18 coming to 17 laps to go. It's the corn machines leading off on the front row. Green flag flies. They're off and away. Hard on the loud pedal is Spencer Madden then as he gets a big jump over Cole Freilich and Rick Ray Vaughn. Ray Vaughn to the inside of Freilich for second place. He's going to take it away. Here comes Puticlis. He's through to third.
Yeah, these guys, they better stay clean because time looking like it's going to start closing in. Remember, we had 2 cautions in the last event and it came close. If we have another caution, we may not finish this race. So we'll see what happens here, how hard these boys race. Maybe they'll race even harder, knowing that the end could be even nearer. Otis Puticlis up into second, looking to the outside for the race lead.
Well, Freilich gave Puticlis a little shot in the shorts there as they came in to that turn. Now to turn number 2 down the back straightaway. They're going to fan it out almost 4 wide. It is Madden to the inside. Puticlis now to the outside for the lead as they come out of turns number 3 and 4 down to the tri-oval. Who's going to lead this lap? It's going to be Madden and Puticlis side by side with 15 to go.
Side by side through the entire field almost, it looks like, as now Harley Lewis is trying to put his name in the bag. He's behind Bates, though. Timothy Bates and Russ Addy, they're entering this thing. A whole lot of really good cars entering the fray as side by side still are Puticlis and Madden. They near each other out of 4. Puticlis almost gets the edge. I think he had that lap. He did over Spencer Madden. Scott McIntyre, your new fast lap. But here comes Rick Ray Vaughn to the outside on the turn number 2. He's going to sink back just a little bit, though. He stays on the top side, and he wants to go 3 wide. Freilich now in the middle. Bates is going to cross up underneath him. Bates goes to the bottom, makes it 3 wide out of 4.
Yeah, don't look at Daniel Falkingham already back up into the top 6. He's trying to join this top 5. You just cannot ever write this guy off as he's working his way up here. He'll have, I believe, Russ Addy to his inside as they go side by side for 6th.
I stepped
And
out.
Ricky in the back.
Contact and around we go. It is Mercier going around one more time and we're caution again.
And that certainly is not good for some of these guys, of course. I think Russ Addy might have been involved. I definitely saw Mercier, though, and some others get into that one. We'll get a replay on your screen here in just a moment, and we'll find out what happened. Looks like John Morgan, actually, not Russ Addy, is going to be involved in this down the back straightaway. And Mercier just comes up trying to go to the top lane. Isn't quite clear to do so. He hooks John Morgan, who was so fast and so good in race 1. Russ Addy does a bit of a bunny hop into 3. John Morgan goes around, and he's probably, he's going to get collected here by Justin Ford. Oh, and gets turned around. Ian Wilson gets a piece of it as I think Tom Mercier continues to bobble and flip up in turn number 3. Not a very good situation into turn 3, and this might cut this race short.
Wild, wild ride, and yes, indeed. Remember, 2 cautions last race, nearly cut that one short. Now we're working our 3rd of the evening. We'll see if these guys can get it in on time, as is 21 minutes elapsed in the session. Obviously, you have to count, gridding and pace laps, but not looking pretty, as there goes somebody around the outside to get their lap back.
This is definitely going to shake things up now. Excuse me, your points leader, Puticlis, now up to the point, looking to get his first oval track win of the season. And as we mentioned earlier, not the best oval racer, but he's sitting in the catbird seat if we can keep it there.
Yeah, I was going to mention Oldest Puticlis leading this race, and if something goes wrong, well, I shouldn't say if something goes wrong, it already has gone wrong. If this race is shortened, his chances, I think, go up a bit right here because it's harder for more cars to pass him. That said, it could be harder for him to make those spots back up if he does get passed on this restart. So then you start to look a little further back. You think about who could win this. Okay, we look at Spencer Madden, Cole Freilich, Rick Ray Vaughn, Timothy Bates. 4 really good cars remaining in your top 5. And then who do you get? Oh, you get Daniel Falkingham, who we just saw win race 1. So the top of your field right now, completely stacked no matter the situation. That said, we could still see somebody else entirely win this thing because these top 6 could end up in a wreck and shorten this race and give it to somebody else. And Russ Addy would be next in line for that. Harley Lewis, Scott McIntyre, Travis Bennett, the remainder of your top 10. So still a bunch of really, really good cars left in this one to duke it out for the win.
Right, and as I picked for race number 1 to win the race, he never actually took the green. Scott McIntyre, he's my next pick, though. He sat 9th. brought up the statistics on the ovals before this previous race. They're very good for him. There's a reason why he's up there in points. He's been laying back a lot, preserving what he's got. He did obviously get into an accident early, so it'd be hard for him to have to repair his car should he get into another accident. But the time is now. This restart. Don't count Scott McIntyre out of this one just because he's starting ninth.
I was just laughing at a message that we got from Cole Freilich. I'm going to keep an eye on him for these next 10 laps because he's going to be in absolute full send mode according to the message he sent. So we'll keep an eye on Freilich because he's wanting to win this race bad.
Absolutely. I think he worded it as a kamikaze mission. Hopefully he doesn't end up completing the, I guess, kami part of the kazi. We'll see exactly how it works out for him. He definitely wants to win this thing, though, and he's in a pretty good spot to do it. Coming in from third place for this restart. He started 8th. He's already up 5 spots, let alone whatever he's going to do on this restart. So he could do some really, really good things. He's inching close to the pit lane, though. Okay, no. He comes back up. He was looking like for a moment he was going to pit. But he has to go through teammate Spencer Madden and points leader Aldous Putiklis to do it. So he's got some tough company up ahead, and that's going to be a tough cookie to crumble.
I think this is perfect. Just how many competitive names we've listed off as we're on the one to go here before we get back to racing on what could be the final restart of the evening. There's so many names up here in the top 10 that can win this race, and even further back that still can win this race. 12 drivers on the lead lap as we get ready to go here at Iowa. How about Putiklis over Madden, Freilich, Ravon, Bates, Addy, Falkingham, McIntyre, Lewis, and Ford, the top 10.
It's going to be a crazy 8 laps. It's going to be coming down to 7 laps to go this time by, as I believe the pace truck's going to pull off here. Putiklis, Madden, Freilich, and Ravon, your front 2 rows here on this double file restart here at Iowa Speedway. Race number 2 of the evening here. 7 laps to go. It is anybody's ball game. Andrew, take us to green.
Pace truck gonna dive down to the pit lane. Aldous Putiklis off and away really early. He's got a big lead, and he knows he has to protect it. 7 laps to go. We might not even get that. This race might be called earlier. We'll see exactly what iRacing timing does there. Spencer Madden then through to second. Freilich in third. Ravon fourth. They're all single file up front, but they're all going to pack up pretty quickly. Already passed for the lead. Madden down to the bottom side of Putiklis. We were looking back a little bit in your top 5. Missed that, but easily Spencer Madden takes over that lead. Putiklis back to the top.
Yeah, we have the 6 and the 666 going at it side by side for the race lead on guess what? 6 laps to go. How about Rick Ravon there in third, looking to cut this one in half, almost literally with his car number 3. We'll see what he can do. Sat third, going through 3 and 4.
Down, here we go, down to the tri-oval. It's going to be 5 laps to go. Rick Ravon trying to poke a nose in there for that for the third spot, or he's already into the third spot now. Got around Freilich, side by side, the battle for the lead. They're double file, 3 rows deep as they roll down the back straightaway. Putiklis and Madden side by side for the lead. Here comes Freilich down to the outside. Kamikaze mode. Here they come.
6 cars racing for the lead. Putiklis and Spencer Madden on the bottom side. Those 2 racing for P1. These other guys racing for about P3 as Ravon on the bottom. Falkingham through to 4th. Freilich falls back to 5th. Bates on the inside of him. So these top 6 going at it as hard as they can right now. Side by side by side. 3 deep as we've even got Travis Bennett coming back into this battle. Harley Lewis behind him.
I got a little trigger happy when I pushed the talk button. Falkingham and Freilich almost made contact. That could have been disastrous as they go side by side. Putiklis and Madden still. Putiklis edges him out into turn 3. How about Ravon and Falkingham just kind of lying in the wings? But we have 2 laps to go this time by. You can't be doing that much more.
And they're still stacked up 2 by 2, about 4 rows deep. Putiklis still your leader. Mad to the outside. It's Falkingham and Ravon going at it for that third spot. Falkingham's got the spot. They still stayed glued to each other down the back straightaway. Falkingham, I thought he was going to go to the outside to try to take that lead away. from Puticus and Madden, but man, they're still stuck side by side out of turn number 4, down to the tri-oval. 1 lap to go.
Rayvon down to the bottom, 3 wide into 1 goes Rick Rayvon, Spencer Madden, and Puticus. Puticus gets shoved out of that battle. Falkingham through to second. Now he's looking for first on the outside of Spencer Madden. Contact. There goes Cole Freilich. We're going to stay with this battle. Daniel Falkingham, can he do it? 2 races in a row. He's going to be side by side of Spencer Madden, and he gets it! 2 wins on the night for Daniel Falkingham in a photo finish and a wreck for Spencer Madden. Daniel Falkingham has a seeing double. I cannot believe it.
You can't write this stuff. The accident there at the end, time is expiring on the session, and of course, the back-to-back wins for Daniel Falkingham. What an evening of racing here at Iowa.
I told you on that one caution he was involved in, don't count him out because he was still on the lead lap. He was still on the racetrack. Even if he's still in the facility, he's got a chance. And my goodness, what a finish here at Iowa.
We're going to take a couple looks back at it here. This is down the back straightaway where everything is going to start up. You see Freilich moving up in the middle. He had the best run down the back, but then he had nowhere to go with it, and Rayvon bumped up, and that sent Freilich up and over almost, and I think he does. Yep, he does get sent over by Timothy Bates. Bennett turns Lewis, the right side of your screen as well. Then it's 4 cars racing to the end. You have Spencer Madden on the bottom of the Haas machine of Daniel Falkingham. Puticus was out of this thing at that point. He has no run, and he's stuck up top. Rick Rayvon really had the best chance to spoil this up at the front, but he couldn't do anything with it. You see more contact for the back, and at this point, it's a drag race to the start-finish line. Spencer Madden, Daniel Falkingham, and somehow Daniel Falkingham gets the right run at the right time. He does it again in a door bang with Spencer Madden for the win. I can't believe it.
Hey, guess what? Yet again, it was 7 1/1000ths of a second.
You cannot write this. This is wild. I be speechless.
I don't even know what to say. I absolutely speechless after that one.
I just want to know the odds of a guy winning this 2 races in a row by the exact same differential. The odds have to be out the window.
And I think in 2 last lap passes, because I think Freilich got by Falkingham at first, and then Falkingham had to pass him back. So I think that was 2 last lap passes as well. It wasn't even just getting past. So Falkingham just, I can't believe it. That's insane. And we're going to watch this whole battle back again. Wow. Just wow.
I mean, I got nothing. You see, I mean, you know, just a hard racing up there. You know, Freilich, he had the huge run. He was trying to go somewhere, and like one of you said, he just couldn't go anywhere with it. They were closing up in front of him, too wide around him. You know, Rick Rayvon, that huge dive to the inside. How many names did we throw around who could have won this race? Puticus, Freilich, Rayvon, Falkingham, Madden. I mean, everybody up there. Scott McIntyre. Well, where was he at the finish? 5th? This is wild.
Yeah, this is what happens to Cole Freilich. And yeah, I mean, Rayvon just bumped up a bit, I think, to get an arc into the corner. Didn't realize that the 51 was there. And wow, he and Bates get hooked together up into the fence. And then you have the battle further up, the drag race out of turn 4. And this is what ends up deciding it again. We'll show it for the final time right here. Just incredible stuff out of Falkingham to back up that first win with yet another, Chris, you mentioned it, by 7 1/1000ths of a second.
Now watch Rayvon here. I like this move by Rayvon. He almost puts it down into the grass to try to get around both of these guys. He was going full bore as well.
Right, definitely. I mean, that was his last opportunity to try to get some kind of positioning out of this near 4 wide finish. It was 3 wide at the line. I mean, yeah.
Spectacular stuff. And what that means is we get to talk to a few more drivers. We're going to go in reverse order of the way we went last time. So we're going to go ahead and get 4th place finisher Aldous Puticus first. Aldous Puticus, do you have a copy? He might not have been expecting us. Aldous, do you have a copy? Well, we'll try and check back with him, then we'll move on to second place finisher, Rick Ray Vaughn. Rick, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Well, Rick,
What's up, guys?
it's not a spectacular pass for first, but you still back up a really good run this past weekend in IORL with a top 3 tonight in race number 2 at Iowa. And that, I mean, you were involved in that finish, you just didn't quite get there for the win.
That's right. That's exactly what happened. I mean, I had a run down there. I was the only thing I could do. I saw about a half an inch worth of room, so I went for it. I mean, it was the last lap, and you know, I had nothing to lose, so I went for it. I didn't get the run, and then I guess Cole Freilich came up through the middle, doing about 10 miles an hour faster than everybody else, and just kind of went for it when there was no room. There was nowhere for him to go. But I was ready on the inside. I was committed, and we touched, and then that. You know, that set off a melee behind us, but I was able to pass the 666 car. Ugh. Yeah, that number. I was able to pass him and come out with a podium. To be honest with you, I'm just happy to get a podium after this. This is one of those races where it's almost like a lottery, but Daniel Falkingham obviously has this place wired. Spencer Madden, too. I mean, both of those guys are just front runners in both of these dual events. So I got to hand it to Falkingham. He just did a fantastic job coming up from the back.
Well, you were one of those front runners as well, and you back it up by completing the run to the front, at least. Again, not for first or second, but still third place. A really good night as far as points and just, I think, overall esteem go. What could you have done differently maybe to try and get those two right at the end?
There really wasn't anything I could have done. You know, the draft effect was pretty good here, but you lost a little bit in the corners. There just wasn't enough time, between turn 4 and the finish line to get a nose on somebody. So I really wasn't able to do anything. They had the inside covered, they had the outside covered. If I tried to make it 3 wide, I was gonna, probably about 5 or 6 guys were gonna go by me. So I just stayed behind Spencer on the inside line. That was really the only thing I could do. There was nothing I could do. If Falkingham and Madden got together and I missed it, that was really my only shot at the win tonight.
Well, Rick, I know you don't usually run these Pro F2000 races, but a really good run tonight. Does this help you out going into a doubleheader next week at Texas in the IndyCar World Series, though?
I don't know if this is going to help me out. I mean, it's a completely different race car, but I just had fun out there with the guys. I'm not in the points race. I missed, I don't know how many races, 5, 6, 7 races, because I don't really do this particular series full time. I'm doing the other series full time, the IndyCar series, and I got the points lead over there. So that's the one that really matters to me. But I was just out here having fun with the guys, and it really was a blast. These guys are so much fun to race with.
Well, Rick, before we let you go, who do you have to thank for this third place run tonight?
Let's see. I have, who do I have to thank? Cole Freilich, because if it wasn't for him, I'm only kidding. I just want to say hi to my wife. She's not here right now. She's up in bed, and I don't even know if she's watching the race tonight because I didn't even tell her I was running. But hi, wife. I love you if you're watching, and hi, Mila, my little sweet daughter. I love you with all my heart. Thank you, Jesus, for giving me life, and thanks to the guys, everybody that runs out here. Thanks to you guys in the booth. Thanks to Elijah Gracia, and we'll see you next Thursday. Looking forward to it.
Sounds good, Rick. We're looking forward to talking to you, I'm sure, after Texas next week. Best of luck out there.
Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you.
And that was Rick Ray Vaughn finishing third tonight. We do have a different driver, not Oldest Pudiclist. We have Justin Ford, and for that, I'll turn it over to Emerson Ardon.
Hey, Justin, you got a copy?
Hey, man, yeah, I got a copy.
All right, well, welcome here. So 7th place finisher at the end kind of talked to us through the carnage on that final restart to the checkers. What was kind of going through your mind? Where were you positioned, and how were you maneuvering through it?
Yeah, I was positioned kind of in the back as normal, and I was trying to move through. There was definitely a lot of people bouncing everywhere, so you kind of got to pick your hole, but I had to be cautious because I had Scott on my inside, and he was just like a wrecking ball tonight, so I was trying to just avoid him and keep on going.
Definitely a wild one, a fun one. So how was your car in the draft today? Was it like easy for you to maybe make overtakes, or did the car tighten up in the corners with aero push? How was your car?
The car handled really good as long as you hit your lines right, and it was actually like pretty good. You'd stay pretty much really in the gas through most of the corner, and there was a little bit of aero push here and there, but it was pretty easy to control.
I don't know, what could you have done differently? Maybe move up the field a little bit more on that melee to the checkers there. There was contact in front of you all over the place. Was there anything you could have done?
Yeah, I probably could have stayed in the gas a little bit more, but I backed off just because I saw everybody flipping and flying. But if I stayed in, I probably could have like stayed up there because I was like right next to Scott and someone else who I think they finished like 6th and 5th. So I could have been up there with next to them, but I backed off just to try to avoid as much as I could.
So are these oval races just about survival, or were you coming here to kind of optimize maybe some points out of it? What was your like mindset going into tonight's doubleheader, and then what did you kind of? Well, I'll leave it at that for that question.
Well, I pretty much go into every race focusing on survival, so that was my main goal. And I didn't actually have a chance to get into practice. I just flew right out of work and jumped right into the actual race. I missed qualifying even, so it was kind of just more feeling it out first race, and then second race just trying to maybe push a little bit more than I was originally.
Right, so that's great. You said you were feeling it out in the first race. So is there anything you took from the first race that you applied here in the second race?
Yeah, I learned how much more important. Well, in the first race, it was really good to be down low and kind of hold people off. But in the second, so I tried doing that, but then I realized in the second race, people were getting really good runs on the outside. So it was kind of like a little bit of adapting between the two because I think of the different times. But it was pretty good to get the practice in first time.
Right, well, it was a wild race, a 7th place finish for you, but you did finish. Do you have anybody to shout out for your runs tonight?
Yeah, I want to do a shout out to Elijah for running the league. This is fun, and you guys for doing the broadcast and stuff. And as usual, the woman, she gets a shout out. And I'd like to give another little shout out to my dog Cooper, who's not doing so well. He's getting a little old on us, and hoping for the best for the little guy.
Right on. We're all hoping for the best for him as well. So congratulations on finishing the wild one that was today, and good luck to you next week.
Thanks, man. Have a good one, guys.
And best of luck to you as well there, Justin. I really hope he pulls through.
Yeah, thanks, man. Me too.
So that's Justin Ford finishing in the 7th place tonight. And we got to turn it over to, again, race winner Daniel Falkingham, Chris Nunn. I believe you got him.
All right, Daniel, Chris Nunn up here in the broadcast booth. Man, I tell you what, I've never seen a driver win 2 races in a row on the final lap by the same exact differential. What is it about this place that you have figured out better than anybody else?
Well, I don't know what to tell you, honestly, because I've never raced road Mazdas here at this track before. I mean, I've raced Iowa a lot with like several other cars, but I mean, going into tonight, I knew it was going to be a draft fest and whatnot, and just I pretty much won the races both ways by just ripping the high line on the last lap, because just with the high line, even though the track had more grip than the last race did, just if you just carried that momentum on the outside, if you were able to hang on the guys outside, you could just run like the middle, you can run the higher lane, you can get the run off, and that's what allowed me to carry me back to the start finish line and beat them. So
now, did you think you were out of it there on that caution about halfway through, or did you know that you had something for him no matter what?
I knew it was going to be harder to get back through there and whatnot, because after I lost all my track position that I made up earlier. But luckily we had that fast pair and I was able to get back up to the front and whatnot. And just pretty much the only shot I had at it was if I was able to be the first car out front like where Oldest was on the last lap. But I guess him and Spencer had net code on the last lap, and that's where I was able to fill the hole, fill the gap. And that's how I just had a run on him. Plus him and Rick Raven were racing as well on the inside of me too, and that's what kind of checked him up a little bit too. And just to be able to carry that run off turn 4 and just beat him back to the start finish line, just I don't know how I pulled that off after getting wrecked earlier, but we'll take it for sure.
Like I said, any time you get in victory lane is, it's a good feeling, no matter how you get there.
Yeah, especially with the Pro Mazdas where we mostly run road courses, and I'm a fan of road courses, but with just this car and with me and road courses just don't suit very well together. But I'm definitely interested, like when this season gets over with and we move on to the new car next year. Hopefully it's a little bit more fun and whatnot. But yeah, definitely was sure fun to run Iowa tonight with these cars, and I believe tonight with these 2 wins tonight, I think it's the first time I've won in the series since season 1. So yeah, that feels good to finally win one of these races again. I mean, and all of them have been on ovals too. So see if we can try to pull off a road course win here pretty soon in these things.
I don't know how much you care about points. You came into tonight 15th in points, and after this last race, you've jumped all the way up into the 9th position in point standing. So you made a good run up there.
Yeah, pretty surprised how we're doing in points so far. I mean, I knew I wasn't able to run all the races. I wasn't able to run all the races at the start of the season, but on my free time now, since late February, I've been able to run every single race. And so I really didn't care much about points, and so I'm pretty much now going to just trying to figure out how high we can get in the points from here on to the end of the season. So hopefully we can try to stay in the top 10 in points, because, I mean, we gained like 6 spots from winning both races and getting pretty much max points too. So we'll definitely take this and hopefully carry this momentum into the final few races of the season.
Who you got to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just got to thank Elijah once again for putting on this league. Definitely like the idea of us doing double headers just to get the season over with so we can get to the new car sooner. Also got to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. Can't wait to go back and watch both races back from your vantage point. And also got to thank all the fans or anyone who watched tonight on Pit Stop TV. And yeah, that's it.
All right, that's tonight's winner. Both races here at Iowa Speedway, Daniel Falkingham.
And 2 very big wins as well. You mentioned him jumping 6 positions in the point standings, and that is incredible. I want to wrap up tonight first by going through your results, and for that, I'll turn it over to Emerson.
Right on. So right here, we'll take a look at the results. How about top of the standings here? Daniel Falkingham getting that win, 7 1/1000ths of a second over Spencer Madden's at second. Rick Rayvon went ahead, got his 3rd place in here. 4th place we'll have Otis Puticlus. 5th place Scott McIntyre. 6th place Russ Addy. 7th place Justin Ford, and 8th place Elijah Gracia.
9th position goes to Harley Lewis. 10th place we'll see Timothy Bates. Strolling down to the 11th position, Cole Freilich after that kamikaze move on the final lap. He'll finish 1 lap down. Travis Bennett, 12th, 1 lap down. Sheldon Lockey, 13th, 1 lap down. Ian Wilson finishes 14th, 2 laps down. 3 laps down in the 15th position is John Morgan. And Tom Mercier rounds out the field, 13 laps down in the 16th position.
So a lot of really good drivers finishing in a lot of high up positions. But that's going to conclude our coverage tonight of the SRCA Pro F2000 series at Iowa Speedway. Pit Stop TV thanks you for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. Join us next Tuesday as we head to Road Atlanta with the Lucky Dog Sim Racing League. And you can even join us back here again with the SRCA IndyCar World Series from Texas Motor Speedway. A couple more doubles coming up there, 35 laps apiece. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/pitstoptv_, on Twitter at pitstoptv_, on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/pit_stop_TV, and on YouTube by searching Pit Stop TV. This has been Emerson Aridon and Chris Nunn with me in the booth tonight. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV for Pit Stop TV, and we will see you next time.